Hey everybody, Andrew here from IGN. I'm with Steve Gaynor from the Fulbright Company.
Hey,
Hello, Steve.
how's it going?
Good. I'm really excited. We're finally seeing Gone Home on consoles.
Mm-hmm.
Something that you guys kind of teased a while back that is finally coming on January.
12th or 13th, depending on which platform. So middle of
Awesome.
next week.
Very cool. And so we're here on the menu screen. We're gonna kind of jump in. For people who played Gone Home when it originally came out, you've probably seen a lot of this. For anyone who hasn't played yet, this is kind of a cool entry to finally getting to see kind of what everyone was so excited about a couple years back.
Yeah. We shipped as a PC game originally. And we always, when we shipped on PC, we had full gamepad support. We wanted to be able to say this is a game that you could play on the couch, that you could play on a console. It's been kind of a long road getting to the point where we have the version on console that we wanted it to be. But I think that there's a lot of people out there who probably have heard about, have like heard of the game. We were really fortunate to get like a really strong response, when it came out on PC, and I'm really psyched that a whole new audience of people that aren't PC gamers that want to play on PS4 or on Xbox One are going to be able to check it out.
Totally, it's that funny thing where like I went into this game knowing nothing about it when it came to PC, and I kind of liked it that way. But I know a lot of other people came in with a baseline and kind of knew what they were getting into. For a new player, so if someone's watching this who is, they've heard of Gone Home, they know a lot of people like it, but they just know nothing about it. What's kind of the baseline of what's happening here and kind of what the game is overall?
So Gone Home is what we call a story exploration game. The game it's a non-combat first-person game. It's something that you could now compare to something like Everybody's Gone to the Rapture or Dear Esther or Firewatch that's coming out soon. There's this I guess kind of new genre of first-person story games that are about just like being in a world, finding the details in the world, discovering the story of what happened here. And so in Gone Home, you play as Caitlin Greenbrier. You're coming back from a year abroad to the house that your family has moved into while you were away, and it takes place in 1995. So I guess more than 20 years ago now.
There's a good amount of exposition on that.
What you do in the game is explore the Greenbrier family's house, find notes, find recordings, find artifacts basically that tell the story of what happened to them and what happened to your younger sister while you were away. Our interactive goals with the game are to make it as interactive of like an exploration simulation kind of as we can, because I love games that let you explore an environment and kind of tell the story of what's there. But so many games, I think, you can't really touch. You can look but not touch. You know what I mean? And we wanted to make a game that's really about how, if you're in this house, we want to let you behave like you're an investigator, like you're an explorer in this house. So like, you can pick up anything and you can examine it and see details of anything in the house that you want to pick up and look at. If there's a lamp or a light switch, you can turn it on and off. If there's a cabinet, you can open it. There isn't any of like fake drawers that's like, that's not a real drawer, that's a real drawer. We wanted to say you have the interactive tools to really explore every detail of this place and come to your own conclusions.
And it's that nice thing where like you're not distracting from something else while doing that. It's not like Half-Life where I felt like almost weird or guilty for like, oh, I should be doing this thing, but I really want to look at this container of whatever,
Right. Yeah, and I love the BioShock games. I worked on the BioShock series for a number of years. Obviously we were heavily inspired by the audio diaries in that game, and the general like kind of interactive paradigm of really being immersed in this game world. But I think that there's something that's saying all you do in the game is explore and find details and find what happened and kind of connect with these events that happened in the past. There isn't shooting, there isn't looking for ammo or whatever. You are completely focused on just that role that you're playing as an investigator, that allows you to really invest in that interactivity of like, this is the only like useful note. This is the only like detailed note in this drawer.
Yeah.
But it's my job as the player to say like, well, is there anything in here? No, that's all junk. What about down here? No, there's nothing useful in here. Oh, but there's this little detail in the corner. And I'm rewarded as a player for really looking at every aspect of this experience, and hopefully as a designer we're able to reward people for like paying attention, investing themselves, not just glossing over the environment, but really like digging into every aspect of it.
Yeah, and it is a reward after a while. That's the nice thing. It's like I guess like even in like Fallout, that's how I'll play it, right? To like look around and try and find like, oh, if I look at every corner, maybe I'll find that extra bit of ammo or whatever I'm looking for. And here it's actually, the more you look, the more you're helping yourself discover more of the environment. Like you
Right.
can find keys, you can find passwords, you can find all kinds of interesting things that will get you into other parts of the house, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, because it's as much about getting it's as much about unlocking the entire house and gaining access to it as it is about kind of piecing this story back together just through individual little nodes. So like this, for instance, there's this moving receipt, and this tells you like, okay, all these boxes are around here because my family moved into this house. This is the moving receipt from when my family moved into this house. So like that kind of gives me one piece of like why things are the way they are when I encounter them. Also, in this case, I know because I am the designer here that when you close this note, we're gonna hear a diary entry from the player character Caitlin's sister Sam. So I'll let that play for a second here.
Dear Katie, so much has changed, even just since you've been away. We moved into this house. I'm in a new school, and my big sister being gone for a year doesn't make it any easier. It doesn't feel real. But I'm not gonna let it faze me. I used to tell you everything, and if I can't do it in person, because you're off gallivanting around who knows where, I'll tell it to this journal. Just like I was talking to you.
So as you explore, you know that if you see a note or if you find an object, you can pick it up, you can read it, you can examine it, you can, get detail out of anything from, oh, there's a magazine by the toilet and I can just look at what's on this magazine, or, I can pick up the toilet paper down here and it's just toilet paper, but, I investigated it. But some things you'll find, and they might seem like mundane objects or mundane artifacts when you discover them, but then these audio diaries that are your sister Sam kind of telling her story of what these things meant to her in her own words, occasionally, is revealed when you find one of these things. And hopefully that kind of dialogue between the diary entries you hear from her and what you're finding in the world gives those objects significance that they might not have had otherwise.
Absolutely. Plus you have a flushing toilet, which I always appreciate
Oh,
in Fin again. It's very
hold
important.
on. Are you trying to say I forgot to flush this toilet?
Oh, yes. Yes. So satisfying. So for people who are playing this or seeing this for either the first time or who played before, what's kind of been added to the console version? Like, what is different here that if someone played Gone Home at launch on PC that maybe they wouldn't have discovered before?
Well, so, I mean, a couple of things, I guess. So, first and foremost, it was kind of our mission to just make the console version of Gone Home the very best version of the PC game that we could. Like, we felt like Gone Home was a very complete experience. We didn't want to say, like, now there's extra story DLC,
Yeah.
find, oh, we added an extension to the house. They just added a guest house. That wasn't really what we thought was going to be valuable about bringing this to console. We just wanted to make sure that the console version was the very, very best possible version of the game that we could put on these platforms. So, like, to that end, a lot of our work was just done to get the game looking and running as good as it could on these platforms. We upgraded the engine to Unity 5. Our programmer Leon worked really hard to get it running at a smooth 60 frames per second all the time, which is not, this isn't Call of Duty. This isn't like a Twitch shooter where it's like you're going to get owned if you're not running at 60, but there's just this smoothness to the experience that the key element, I think, of Gone Home kind of hanging together is that you feel like you're really there, that you feel like you're immersed in the space. And I've seen this running at 30 and at 60, and there's just something about that uninterrupted smoothness of the experience that I think just helps you really feel like you're in the space. It's not distracting. You just feel like you're fully within the environment. The other aspect of it is, on PC we added a developer commentary mode. After release. It was a couple months after the game came out on PC. So if you were a player that played Gone Home on release, you may not have gotten a chance to play the developer commentary mode. It's over 90 minutes of audio commentary from the developers of the game, Chris Remo, the musician that did the original score, Corin Tucker, who was the singer of Heavens to Betsy, and then later Slater Kinney, who's Riot Girl music is in the game. The voice actor, Sarah Grayson, who was the voice of Sam. And so, there's this entire other layer once you've completed the game to go back and find, over an hour and a half of insight from the people who worked on it into how it was made and kind of what the significance of different aspects of it was. So hopefully that makes people able to really kind of like dig all the way into what's here and have as deep an experience of what kind of the story behind the story, as it were, on console once you've completed. Well, I should say you don't have to complete the game to get to commentary mode. It's not like New Game Plus. It's just when you start a new game, you can enable commentary mode, and then there's just nodes that are floating around the world that you can interact with, like an audio diary, to hear more about what you're finding, what you're looking at.
I really like that. I know Valve has done that in a few games. And
that was definitely part of our inspiration, was like Portal, and I think they did one for Left 4 Dead.
And they add so much. Like, just getting that extra context is interesting. I mean, it's like that funny thing of like watching movies on VHS growing up versus when DVDs came out, and you could get that like developer commentary, and you would learn all this like weird stuff that like actually added a lot to it, or just even funny stories about how they filmed this or casting or whatever. I always really like that stuff.
Also, here's a note for people who are interested in how games get made. It turns out if you want to keep your age rating down, don't swear too much in your commentary mode, because when you're watching a DVD commentary, it says like this content is unrated,
bonus content not rated.
It doesn't affect whether it gets a PG-13 or an R or whatever. In our case, all those F-bombs in the commentary actually had an impact on what the game was rated. So watch your mouth, be nice. Don't
love
use
the
too many
idea.
four-letter words.
I love the idea of like Finding Nemo or something just has this like super explicit commentary.
As do I.
Well, very cool. So this is out January 12th and 13th, you said?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And on Xbox One, PS4.
Yep.
How much?
I think it's just gonna be the same as PC. So $20. And yeah, like we are really excited for everybody to get to play it. I think we always designed it to be a couch experience, and I'm really glad that it's going to be on kind of a couch native set of platforms finally. So thank you guys so much for your patience and your support, and for everybody who's played it on PC already. If you have a friend that you were hoping would play Gone Home and they're not a PC gamer, let them know. Get the word out. We're really excited to have people get their hands on it.
Very cool. Thank you, Steve. For more on Gone Home, you're in the right place. Keep it locked. It's IGN.
Thanks, man.